Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's time for the FBC Friday Five, the five things that you need to know about life at First Baptist Church of Oregon City, 819 John Adams Street, Oregon City, Oregon 97045, at the corner of Ninth and John Adams Streets, here in currently sunny Oregon City. We'll probably have some rain again later, but that's how that goes. It's December in Oregon. What are you going to expect? Well, we're doing the Friday Five just a little bit differently today. We're pre-recording it because some things have just worked out that I need to be available at 4 o'clock, and so yeah, we're gonna video this. I'm gonna post it. So we won't have the live comments and interaction like we do sometimes, but you'll still be able to like and comment and share with your friends if that's something that you'd like to do. So what's going on this week? Well, this is that time of the year that things really seem to start going in like when you held down uh, back when VCRs were a thing, you held down the fast forward button. Yeah, that everything seems like it's in fast forward right now, and so time is just flying by. I can't believe it's the Friday before Christmas. It feels like just a couple weeks ago, like Christmas seemed really far away, and now here it is. We had winter solstice yesterday, the shortest daylight hours of the year, and then pretty soon it's going to be Epiphany, and we'll be in January of 2024, and yeah, a lot going on. A lot going on. We're here in my office. I'm using a video filter to blur out all of the mess that is behind me, but it's not. Uh, you don't get the specifics of the mess. You get the generalities of the mess. What are you gonna do? And that's just the way it is. So yeah, we are here. We are getting ready for things, and I this is a it's a good time of the year. And what I would encourage you to do is take a minute and pause. We're actually gonna do a spiritual practice in in the Sunday morning worship service. How do we take that pause? How do we stop and notice things in this time that things just seem to fly by? We can get so caught up in how things are just whizzing past us that we don't stop. And Kurt Vonnegut once said that when we're experiencing something that is truly just I'm paraphrasing here. He said that if we're experiencing something that is truly beautiful in our lives, and this I'm direct quoting, he said that we should stop and say, well, if this isn't good, I don't know what is. And that's just his way of saying, take a minute, mark that moment. There was a movie I was going to say not too long ago, but by not too long ago, I mean like 18 years ago, called Elizabethtown. And Elizabethtown, it's a long story, but it's about a guy who completely failed at making shoes, and then he has to go bury his father. And so I don't know how well it's aged. I don't like, not a lot of people thought it was a great movie then. It's special to Katie and I. It was it was, I think, our actual first date, believe it or not. And so, yeah, so in that movie, Kirsten Dunst's character will occasionally like hold up her fingers like this, like she's got a camera, and go like she's trying to capture that moment. And so that's what I would encourage you to do. There's lots of stressful things in just family dynamics, in relationships, in the world, and we can get really bogged down in those. And I think, yes, there are things in the world that we absolutely should be lamenting. There are several situations in the world that just deserve our an outpouring of our pain and our compassion and our wondering of how can we help. At the same time, we have to recognize that there is good in our day-to-day lives where we are, and that all good things come from God. Gratitude will always point us back to God. And so when you're in these moments, just take a minute, take a breath. It doesn't have to be anything profound. It doesn't have to be anything, out of the ordinary, but just take a breath and realize that as you take this breath, you are acknowledging that something good is going on and that God is in the midst of it. And that brings you right back into this moment. You're not thinking about what else is going on over here or over there. You're not thinking about all the other things that have to happen that day. You're right there. You're right there with your partner, your spouse, your kids, your nieces, your nephews, your aunts, your uncles, whoever you're going to be with, your friends. You're right there with people. And you say, God, if this isn't good, I don't know what is. Thank you. And that leads us back to God. And there's lots of things that we can do if we're paralyzed about fear in the world. Um, there are many things. Mr. Rogers always said, "Look for the helpers." Um, and so I would say we need to be people as followers of Jesus who can meet the hurting world with our scars showing, because that's how Jesus showed up. Is Jesus meets a hurting world with his scars showing. And we do this and we look for people who are helping. We look where God is already at work in a situation and we get involved and we move into this and we consider how is the kingdom present here, and how is God moving that we can get involved in. And we can do another time on uh, how do we um, what's the word I'm looking for here? How do we deal with, how do we confront, how do we meet those difficult times in the world? We can do that maybe in the new year. But yeah, so that'll be something that we can talk about. But for now, whenever something's good, just notice it, and it will be a good moment that propels you through your holiday season. And I say holiday season, and I went over this last week, but I'm gonna say it a little bit again, but I'm gonna just put a slightly different twist on it. A lot of the time when we say Christmas, if we as followers of Jesus mean that to be December 25th, we're shortchanging ourselves, we're shortchanging the people around us. Because historically in the church, you've heard this song, The 12 Days of Christmas. That is Christmas Day up through the Feast of the Epiphany. The Feast of the Epiphany recognizes the Magi. It recognizes the proclamation of Simeon and Anna in the temple. Um, there's a lot of good stuff there in the Epiphany. Um, but a lot of times we skip the Epiphany, sadly. We don't at First Baptist Church, but I never heard anything about the Epiphany growing up. Let me just put it that way. Uh, we can be tempted to skip the Epiphany. We can be tempted to skip the 12 days of Christmas. But if we're really rejoicing, if we're really recognizing that Christmas is when the Creator came into creation, not as a conquering king, not in the palace of a wealthy aristocrat or nobleman, but came as a child of poverty who would soon have to flee for his life, who would become an immigrant, who would have to leave to a foreign and far off land. Um, and so yeah, um, if we're really recognizing the fullness of this, we should be celebrating. We should be throwing a party for 12 days. And we're really good at the lead up to Christmas, but we're not good at the follow through. And so keep celebrating. This is a good time of the year. Celebrate. The daylight hours are short, and the more we recognize that by bringing light into the darkness, we're doing a very gospel-centered thing. I think it's a good thing for us to be attentive to as followers of Jesus. Right. So here we go. It is time now. That's enough of that. We'll put that behind us. It's time now for the FBC Friday Five, the 5 things that you need to know about what's going on here at First Baptist Church of Oregon City. And thing number one, we've got a not a I don't want to say a packed weekend, but we have Christmas Eve on Sunday and Christmas on Monday. And so Christmas Eve is our usual 10:30 worship service. We're not having an evening service this year. We're just having the 10:30 a.m. Sunday morning worship service. So just the normal time that we always um, gather for worship. Boom, there we are. So 10:30 on Sunday, is the last Sunday of Advent. We're looking at love, and we're talking about the house of God forever. We're reading a passage. It's not what you expect maybe for the Sunday before Christmas or Christmas Eve, whatever you want to call it. But we're looking at a passage from Second Samuel chapter 7, where David wonders aloud about building a house for God, and God says, "No, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it through a people." And so, what does that mean for us? What does it mean to live in the house of God forever? 10:30 a.m. Sunday morning. Like I said, we'll do that spiritual practice where we talk about breathing prayer for special moments, and moments that we hope will be special. And sometimes I think that we can buy recognizing every moment is holy. Suddenly we find just ways and means that we did not know God was working, but because we're present to it, but because we have our eyes open to it, we'll see it. So we'll talk about that on Sunday, 10:30 a.m. here, where you're watching this, and here at First Baptist Church, 819 John Adams Street. Thing number two, Christmas morning. The celebration begins the first of the 12 days of Christmas when your true love can give you a horrifying amount of birds. Yeah, so Christmas morning, 9:30 a.m. We're doing a pancake breakfast. Pancakes, I don't know. Maybe there's somebody out there who doesn't really like. I'm sorry. I usually turn my phone off, but um, missed that one. Um, yeah, sorry about that. That was very surprising for me and maybe for you. I don't know if you heard what was going on, but my phone definitely did start ringing. Anyway, let me get that here just a second. This is professionalism at its finest, folks. So I was starting to say, I know there are people um, who don't like pancakes. I've never met them. I'm sure they're out there somewhere. But pancakes, it's nice. They're customizable. And so yeah, we're gonna make some pancakes, and you can come and eat some pancakes. We'll have pancakes, other breakfast foods, coffee. You can come in fun, festive Christmas pajamas if you want to. It's a very chill, laid back morning. 9:30 Monday morning, Christmas morning, we're eating pancakes. 10:30 we have a worship service. It's participatory. We do it together. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It's not just a bunch of people up front like doing everything and people are spectating. We're reading together. We're praying together. We're singing together. It's all about bringing people together so that whether you're 8 years old or 80 years old, there's something for you to enjoy and participate in. So that is Monday, 9:30 pancakes, 10:30 worship service. Then thing number three is on December 30th, the Women's Bible Study is meeting. They are not meeting tomorrow. Normally they would meet the second and fourth Saturdays of the month, but because tomorrow is right in this Christmas, this festive period, they're not going to meet tomorrow. They're going to meet the 30th. So the 30th, if you are a woman and you want to come to Women's Bible Study, meet us here at meet the women. I'm not part of it. Um, 10 a.m. On December 30th is Women's Bible Study. Thing number four is December 31st. It may be New Year's Eve, but it's still the season of Christmas. Like I said, 12 days of Christmas. We'll still be in the midst of it. And so you can join us for worship on December 31st to continue the Christmas celebration, 10:30 a.m. And thing number five, just looking ahead a couple more or just a little bit farther, Epiphany Sunday is January the 7th. And so we will gather to see what does it mean? What does it mean for Jesus to be, for the infant Jesus to be revealed to the world? We will take a look at that on January 7th. So here's the rundown. Thing number one, Christmas Eve, the House of God Forever, 10:30 a.m. We do not have an evening service. Underline that. Thing number two, Christmas morning, 9:30 a.m. pancakes, 10:30 worship. Be here. It's Monday. It's Christmas morning, pancakes, worship. Can't go wrong. 9:30 and 10:30. Come for pancakes and then leave if you have to. Or don't come for pancakes, just come for worship. Either way, whatever you want to be at, we will be glad to see you here. Thing number three, Women's Bible Study is meeting not tomorrow, but December 30th at 10 a.m. Thing number four, December 31st, we are having worship. It is still Christmas, so show up and celebrate. Thing number five, Epiphany Sunday, coming up January 7th. This is the last FBC Friday 5 of 2023. It's another year that we've been together, joining together on Fridays. I'm glad you've been here. I'm glad to have been here, and I hope you have a very happy Christmas. And I hope we see you this weekend. Come on out, and if you like this little thing that we've done here, maybe hit the share button. Share it with your friends. Invite somebody out for pancakes. Like I said, if they leave after the pancakes, I don't mind. People like pancakes. People need people. So invite people. Get them out here for pancakes. We'll be glad to see them, and we'll be glad to see you. 10:30 on Sunday, 9:30, 10:30 on Monday. Peace.